Hello, once again I'm Cosmic, and today we're going to be taking a look at Dogs of War Online. Dogs of War Online is a tactical turn-based strategy game developed by Cyanide Studios. Cyanide Studios themselves are a French developer based in Paris, France, and are somewhat of a hit and miss company in my opinion. While they have developed great games like Blood Bowl, Confrontation and the highly underrated Of Orcs and Men, they are also the ones responsible for the terrible Game of Thrones game. Please note that at the time of making this review, the game, although mostly complete, is still in open beta, and as such there are quite a few bugs and glitches here and there. Dogs of War Online is heavily inspired by the Confrontation tabletop game developed by Rackham, as was their previous title of the same name. The game itself is set in the world of Arklash, which as you can imagine is in a state of war. Three factions vie for power: the forces of light, darkness and destiny. Seeing this is a grand opportunity, mercenary companies have started to spring up. As you can imagine, you're going to set up one of these. Currently in the game, you can choose one of 3 armies to use for your mercenary company, which is technically 1 per faction. You can have up to 3 companies, so you can have 1 for each faction. However, you can only have 1 active company at a time. Eventually there will be 3 armies to choose from per faction. At the moment you can either choose the army of Acheron, whose symbol is the ram, which are the undead warriors who fight for darkness, the kingdom of Alan, whose symbol is the lion, and they are the holy warriors who fight for light, and finally the Wolfen, whose symbol ironically is the Wolfen, and they are the giant Wolfen who are aligned with the forces of destiny. There is plenty of lore in the game to be had, and it is easily accessible through the various game menus, which tell you little bits and pieces about the world and the characters that are in the world. The game's main menu is where you can access all the tabs that you need to manage your units and items, so first let's take a look at company management. As you can see here, each of your units has a number of attributes such as attack, damage and parry, as well as an AP value. AP stands for Army Points. The way that battles work in Dogs of War is similar to popular tabletop games. Each battle has an AP limit value. For example, a deathmatch with a limit of 200 AP means that you will only be able to deploy units that match or go under that score collectively. For example, I can deploy my Predator of Blood, a Wolfen Crossbowman and a Lone Wolfman unit, which adds up to 167 AP. However, I cannot deploy my Fang Warrior, as adding him to the selection will push the limit over 200 AP. Each unit can level through experience points gained from battle. As the unit levels, so will its stats and ultimately its AP value. Some levels may also unlock talent points, which can be spent on the unit's talent tree. The talents available vary from unit to unit and can either be passive or an activated combat skill. Moving on to the Missions tab, missions are quests that you can send off one of your units to gain various rewards for completion, such as renown or ducats, which is the currency of the game. Each mission has a chance of success and a chance for failure. Failure state of a mission can also have negative effects, such as injury to a said unit. Missions take real world time to complete, similar to learning a skill in EVE Online. You can leave your selected unit to complete the task given. Missions are also a good source of miscellaneous events and information about the world itself. Be warned, however, once you send a unit off to a mission, you cannot use that unit in battle until it has returned. So let's move on to the inventory and the store tabs. Now the inventory tab is where you can organize and view your items, and you can also sell your unwanted items from this menu. Alongside this inventory tab is the store. Now there are 2 types of currency in Dogs of War: ducats, which is the most common, and you earn ducats from battles, missions and events. The other is cyans. Now cyans are purchased with real money from your Steam wallet. 20 cyans is equivalent to £1.67 or around $3 in the US. You can purchase anything in the store with either cyans or ducats. However, there are some exclusive items that can only be purchased with cyans. These are the packs. The store is also where you gain new units. However, to purchase some units you must first upgrade your renown level. You can also buy items like healing cards to heal your injured units, cosmetic items such as colour variants for your units, and packs. Packs are only purchasable with cyans. They are essentially packs of units for your company. Good if you want to avoid the grind, but expensive, and they reflect that. While this game is in no way pay to win, I find it amusing how this game, like many others in the past, is in open beta and has a variety of bugs associated with the actual game itself, yet the in-game store works perfectly. Priorities, anyone? Regardless of that, let's get down to the nitty-gritty and the main focus of the game, which is combat. There are currently 3 types of player versus player game modes available. You have your straight up deathmatch mode, Elimination VIP, which is where you are given a unit to protect while trying to kill the enemy's VIP, and the last one is King of the Hill, where you need to place units in a selected area and hold it until the timer runs out. When you're not killing real people's mercenaries, you do have the option of training missions. These training missions have a variety of difficulties that place you up against a computer AI. The combat itself is a very traditional turn-based strategy. The movement grid is a hex grid and the game shows you your movement options very clearly. The green area around a unit is where you can move and still do actions like attack. You also have the option to move further, which is called sprinting, by going into the orange highlighted area at the expense of any form of attacking action. Attacking works on a basic formula: your unit's accuracy versus the enemy's parry. Should you succeed, damage is then worked out by a roll of your unit's damage versus the enemy's toughness rating. There are a variety of factors governing your unit's attributes in battle. Things like terrain, cover, injuries, and other statuses can affect these rolls. Speaking of terrain and cover, the maps are beautifully crafted and you can make use of walls, hedges and more to take cover from range enemies or shoot from hedges, thus making your unit covered while attacking. There are also blocks of terrain that have rubble placed on them. These areas are classed as heavy terrain and units standing on them will incur defensive penalties. 2 really useful mechanics in combat are the charge and the pursuit movement mechanics. Charge is exactly as it sounds. Your unit can charge an enemy. A successful charge will not only engage the enemy in close combat, but also inflict a stun state which incurs a -1 to all the enemy's attributes. Pursuit movement occurs when a unit defeats an enemy. You'll be able to take another action, be it movement or attack another close by enemy. You also have orders at your disposal in combat. Orders are essentially consumable abilities that you can use on any one of your units. Some orders are faction specific. For example, as you can see, I play as the Wolfen. Their faction specific order is Natural Selection, which gives me a +2 damage to any one of my units for the rest of that turn. Orders are crucial to victory in Dogs of War and can literally be the difference between a win or a loss. Upon successful completion of a battle, you are then taken to the post-battle screen, where you can see how much currency and renown you gained from the previous battle. Once you gain enough renown to level up your renown level, you unlock more game modes, units, unit slots and more. You'll also start to climb the online rankings, which admittedly can get pretty competitive, as I myself have managed to climb my way into the top 100 after a long 9-game winning streak. Dogs of War's art style is very eye-catching. It's very nicely drawn and designed. The stylized design really suits the game and the character models are really nicely done. The actual maps are beautifully done and I can't wait for Cyanide Studios to add more. Even the background rock surfaces look fantastic. The sound is also nice. While I would prefer more variety in the background music, what's there does its job pretty well. While some of the music sounds eerily similar to the recent strategy role-playing Blackguards, it is unique in its own way. In conclusion, Dogs of War is nowhere near perfect. Cyanide still have a lot of work to do, not only to bug fix, but to also ensure the correct balancing for the units, as some do currently feel a little overpowered. Combat is solid and a good framework for Cyanide to build on as the game progresses. Luckily, it is a completely self-published title, and Cyanide own the IP, meaning that they can tweak to their heart's content. If you're a big turn-based strategy fan, you will find real enjoyment here as I did. It is also a good place for newcomers to the genre to find their bearings, as the game isn't too difficult and you can just play with friends until you feel ready for more challenging foes. As free-to-play games go, Dogs of War is by no means pay to win, as I've said, though progression solely through ducats is quite slow and sometimes tedious. It is doable and easily done at that. While it's a definite work in progress, There is certainly potential to build upon here, and I have no qualms about recommending this to anyone looking to play a turn-based strategy game, especially if they're looking for a decent multiplayer version. And that's it from me, so thank you so much for watching. Do like, subscribe and leave a comment, and I will see you next time.